Hello guys, in today's project we are going to be installing Android on our Windows PC. Before we proceed, we need three things to proceed. First of all is a Windows PC. Secondly is a thumb drive of 64 gigabytes or bigger. And the third and most important is brains. You need brains. If you have all three, then we are good to go. Let's get started. Okay, so I would like to proceed by showing you all the specs that I'm working here. So as you all can see, I am working an Intel Core i5 8th Gen CPU clocked at 1.8 GHz. This is a Lenovo PC. I just have about 256 gigs of SSD storage and about 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is what I'm working with here. Yours could be better or far less better than I have here, but as long as it's an Intel powered PC or an AMD powered PC, a Windows PC to be precise, you are good to go. No need to stress about anything. Just do what I do and just follow me. Alright. Okay, so what you actually want to do here is hit the Windows key plus R to bring up the run prompt. Then after that, type in msinfo32 and just click on enter. Now what you want to look for at the system information is your BIOS mode. Okay, make sure your BIOS mode is set to UEFI. If it is not at UEFI already, a quick Google search would suffice. So as you can see here, my BIOS mode is already at UEFI. The second thing you'd want to check for at the system information is also secure boot state. Make sure the secure boot state is off, which will allow us to install any custom operating system we want on our Windows PC. If you have these two things, then we are good to go. Let's proceed to the next step. The next step is to download Rufus. Rufus is a Windows program that helps us create bootable ISOs in order to boot onto. There are a lot of Windows programs you can use to create bootable ISOs, but I prefer Rufus. You could go with any one of your choosing or any one of your liking. So just head over to Google and just search for Rufus. Is the first link, and make sure to download the Rufus XE. So after that, we are good to go. After you have the Rufus, we now proceed to downloading our Android firmware. For this, we are using the Prime OS project. That is the Prime OS Android project. There are a lot of Android firmware projects for Windows, but I am choosing Prime OS because of its hardware and security support. So you head over to the Prime OS website as I am showing here. I'll make sure to put a link to the Prime OS website in the description below. So you just head over to the Prime OS official website. You just download the Prime OS build. After the download, we make sure to create a partition for our new Android OS. Normally, you're only going to have one partition for your Windows operating system. Sometimes it might be two or more, but what I like to do here is create a separate special partition for my Android build. As you can see, I actually have two partitions here. I am going to shrink the bigger one, as you can see I am doing here. Shrink the bigger one, and the space that comes from shrinking the bigger one, I'm going to allocate that space to my Android. So I'm going to give this new partition about 32 gigabytes of space here. That is more than enough for running Android on a Windows PC. So as you can see here, after typing in the amount of space you want to shrink to, you just select shrink. And it's actually done shrinking. So the new shrink space, as you can see, it's saying 31.25 gigabytes. That is unallocated space. So after shrinking, you have to allocate it. How do we allocate it? You left click on the unallocated space. Then from there, you select new simple volume. Then you just follow the setup wizard to the new simple volume. You assign any letter you want to the new simple volume. It doesn't actually matter. What I also like to do is give it an actual special name. Make sure the partition is left as NFTS and the volume name just type in Android so that we don't get confused during the BIOS installation of the new firmware. Alright, so once you get all these in order, then we are good to go. You just click on next. After that, you click on finish, and your new unallocated space should be allocated. As you can see, I now have Android as allocated space in Drive D. Next, you get your thumb drive. Okay, you get your thumb drive. I'm using a Boost thumb drive. This is just a generic Chinese thumb drive here. It's 64 gigabytes in storage capacity. You just install your thumb drive in your Windows PC. As you can see, you just install your thumb drive and make sure your thumb drive is also formatted. After formatting your thumb drive, open Rufus. Now, what you want to do is click on the drive and make sure it is your new thumb drive that you just inserted. After that, click on the select ISO and navigate to where you downloaded the Prime OS zip file. That is the Prime OS ISO, the DIX image. Okay, click on it and click open to select it. So after that, make sure that your system file size for the drive is at FAT32. That is the default. Make sure your target system is at UEFI. Make sure your partition scheme is at GPT, and make sure your allocation size, that is a cluster size, is 32 kilobytes. So after all this is in order, you just have to click on start. Once you click on start, you might get this pop-up saying Rufus has detected an ISO image, blah blah blah. Just click on OK to proceed. And Rufus is also going to tell you it's going to format data on the DIX. Just click on OK and give Rufus the space it needs to build your new bootable ISO. It's roughly going to take around 5 minutes, so I'm just going to skip this through. So once Rufus is done with your ISO, it's going to change to ready. As you can see, the new ISO is ready. At this point, all you just need to do is just click on cancel to close Rufus. Then you proceed to turning off your Windows computer. You proceed to shutting down your Windows PC completely. Now that my PC is turned off, I'm going to proceed to entering the BIOS. For my Lenovo computer here, all I have to do is keep on spamming the enter key to enter the BIOS. If you do not know the specific key for your Windows PC BIOS configuration, just search your Windows PC name, example Dell hotkey on Google, and it's going to give you the BIOS key. So as you can see, I'm booting into the setup interrupt. You're going to select your USB drive with the new ISO bootable. So as you can see, mine is USB HDDs vendor.c or whatever. That should lead you into the Prime OS installation boot menu. So you select Prime OS unofficial installation. Let the script run. Now this is the tricky aspect. Prime OS is going to ask you where to install the new Android operating system. As you can see, the partition we named Android, this is it. So I'm just going to select that partition, and it's going to ask us if you want to reformat that partition. Just select do not reformat. Do you want to install EFI Guru? Just select yes. This is going to allow you to boot from Windows to Prime OS simultaneously, as long as you want. Don't mind this, I'm saying this because I've already done the installation before. So I'm just going to click on yes, delete the old installation. So we just allow Prime OS to do its thing and install on the partition we've allocated for it. If the installer asks you to create a partition, just select yes, and for the size, you're going to input something that corresponds to the partition we already created in Windows. So in my case, I'm going to input 30 gigs because I created 32 gigs in Windows. After that, just select run Prime OS. Alright, we are in the Prime OS boot screen. At this point, all we need is some patience for Prime OS to finish setting itself up. So this is the Prime OS setup screen. I'm just going to speed run through this. The default language for the Prime OS installation is Russian, so you might want to look at how to change it back to English. I'm going to do it here, but I'm just going to speed run through it, so you might want to slow the video down and look at it for yourself. So that is it. We've successfully installed Prime OS on our Windows PC. One might ask, what is the purpose or what is the importance of having Prime OS or an Android OS on your Windows PC? The thing is, you get to have your PC as a Chromebook by having direct access to Android itself. You get access to the Google Play Store. You can install Android games natively. And if for some reason your PC is also lagging, installing Prime OS is actually going to give you a lot hell of performance, since your Windows PC might actually be more than enough to run Android. And for those of you who are lucky enough to also have a touchscreen, you can just flip your PC into tablet mode and use your touchscreen with Prime OS for a full Android tablet-like experience. If you want to switch back to Windows 2, all you have to do is turn off your PC from the Prime OS power menu. Click on power off. Once your PC completely shuts down, you just press on your PC's power button to initiate the startup boot. From the startup boot, you are going to be asked which OS you'd want to head into. So as you can see, I'm having the Prime OS as an option, as a boot option. I'm also having Windows as a boot option. So just select Windows and that is it. Your PC will boot into the Windows operating system instead of the Prime OS operating system. You are going to be asked to select an OS you want to boot from each and every time you completely turn off your PC, hence the dual boot. So let's give it a while here, and as you can see, I now have Windows back and running. Once Windows boots, you are going to find that the Android partition you created for Prime OS is no longer visible in the Windows File Explorer. This is because Prime OS has taken full control of that partition. In order to get your partition back, you just have to go to the DiskPart Manager. That is the Disk Manager utility tool in Windows. It's going to show up there, and you just format it, and Prime OS should be deleted from that partition for you to have your partition back. Thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, consider liking, consider subscribing. Thank you for everything. Peace out.